What up, everybody? This is Charlie Maverick, and this is the Backyard Pitmaster podcast. I'm your host, and I'm glad you can be with me today. Here to talk about live fire cooking and some nice, good experiences that I've had over the past week or so that I wanted to share with you. Some mishaps. there, there have been some mishaps with some uh, technical issues trying to get some video recorded. And I'm going to talk about, a couple of things that I've experienced on my travels back to Charleston, South Carolina. Yes. So I want to thank you guys for joining me again on another live show. You could be doing anything else in this virtual world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. I want to invite you to follow me on social media at Twitter, on Twitter at Charlie Maverick. Please do that so you can hear all the crazy banter I'm having back and forth with other content creators. Big up with my homies that are also doing big things, and just giving behind the scenes like little, photos of cooks and everything. And I'm talking about things that matter in the world. Oh yeah, and some funny stuff here and there. So if you want to be a patron of the channel, show love to your homeboy Charlie Maverick, please do so by going to that support link. It is anchor.fm/mavcast/support. Oh man. And let me tell you, I was so upset that I couldn't see my homeboy in person, but I did experience another round of them Charleston Chewies. And if you were in Charleston, South Carolina, on a vacation or just visited family, however you got there, visit the homeboy at Daddy's Barrels Bakery at 2021 Reynolds Avenue, Suite B102. I'm telling you, that stuff's addictive. And my partner in crime when it comes to content creation, support my homeboy at the Brown Sugar Cafe, Terrence P. Elmore, doing great things out there in the content verse. What do we have here? We have me, you, talking about live fire. Are you ready to talk about some good stuff? Yeah? All right. So I'm going to turn that down for a second. So it's just me and you talking, right? So I've been to Charleston, South Carolina, visiting, going to my homeboy Maurice Miller's 40th birthday party. Big up to the homie. He's slightly older than the rest of the crew. We catching up to you, man. It was nice seeing everyone. One thing I got to tell you about is I hate driving from Atlanta to Charleston. It's not the fact that it's the length of time it takes to get there, although I am getting less, you know, I'm getting, I don't want to be on the road too long. And what I found out is there's two things that I hate about driving back and forth to Charleston. First and foremost, there's always an accident on I-26. It doesn't matter if you're coming or going. There's always a slowdown that I find. And lo and behold, I was making good time. I was making really good time going to Charleston. I was going, driving into GMC, just me and the terrain going, booking it. I was averaging about 75, 80. It was sweet. Thing handled the road nice. It was the first time on the long trip like that. So everything was fine. Soon as I got out of Columbia, wow, slow down. Instead of 30 minutes slow down, it was more like an hour slow down. And it was multiple points of like stoppage. It was like you had 3 or 4 accidents in a like straight up line I think maybe in a 5 mile radius. It was awful. Always slows me down. And then I had a slow down coming back in town. on I-20. So I-20, I-20 is like one of those highways that at different parts, it's not fun. Should I say? I don't know. Getting out of Atlanta is a beast in itself. Trying to go with the knuckleheads, you transition off of 285, and then you get on I-20. You're like, well, at least I got past that. You start on that long stretch on I-20. It's a long, boring stretch. Oh God. You got to have some good music or something in your ear, and it's like, man, at some point in that ride, you're you gotta stop halfway. Like what I do is I stop it right outside of North Augusta at exit 5, I think it is, and I get off and I stretch my legs. I'm telling you, the if there was more going on with maybe like some twists and turns and whatever, it might have been better. If I go the other way and go like I-85, I think it is. Yeah. Then that's I could go along a stretch of time. I could actually like probably like blow straight through to Charleston, no problem, because it's more interesting. I don't know. It keeps your brain more active. But I hate going that way because, I end up having to go through a small town, and sometimes the small town has some random traffic or something that delays me and slows me down. Stuff like that. But anyway, I just hate driving there and back. But I did it, Uh, but one of my homeboys, he flew in. I'm like, dang, I did look at trying to get a ticket, but golly, man. Back in the day, there were good airline rates between Charleston and Atlanta when AirTran was in business, but when Southwest bought them up and whatever deal with the devil that the Charleston International Air Force Base, I mean, not Air Force Base, International Airport made with the devil. I don't know. Um, the rates are sky high, and the only direct flight you can get is Delta. Delta's great, but you're gonna pay Delta. You gotta pay Delta prices. It's like paying Apple prices, or in the grilling world, it's like paying Weber prices, or Big Green Egg, or Jumbo Joe. You know what I'm saying? But man, it was good being there. I got to I got a lot of quality time in with friends and family. Oh man, I'm actually surprised I got as much crammed in as I did. I was on the go the whole time. I'm not as young as I used to be. I just want to put that out there. Normally, when I come in town, it's usually action packed, spending time with both sides of the family, right? And to give equal time, I normally never have enough time to actually go see friends and other people in the family. Not because uh, I'm held hostage. It's because it's you know it dedicate time just for that. And it's usually during times when like it's the holidays and people have other plans with the family anyway. So anyway, holidays is usually where we're all in the same area, but time, family time. Family comes first. You got to do that. So it's been years since I've seen these guys, and it was awesome. Uh, got into the place. To be at the birthday party. First, let me back up before that. I got a chance to hang out with my mom. It was funny. First came in and just hung out for a little bit. My mom is the co-host of the Cooking Grits podcast. So I got to talk about this a little bit. So I came in and rested. I actually was more rested than I thought I was. I was sipping a little bit on some Crown Royal apple. Shout out. If you ever grilling outside, the drink of choice, no matter what time of year, is Crown Apple. Mm, I'm just saying, you get your life right if you ain't doing it right. But was hanging out with mom outside on the patio, and we're firing up her new grill. She used it a few times. It's a propane part, and then there's a charcoal part. Pretty nice, and the charcoal part is a semi Santa Maria type thing to where you can lower and raise the grate, the actual charcoal basket, so you can get a distance between the meat and the fire, so you can do little tricks in there, and it's enough room to do indirect cooking. It was awesome. So just so happened she put some chicken legs on the counter and she was going to grill them. I'm like, hey, let's hang out and grill. So that's what we did. Had some music on. We're sitting outside. Dad was chilling, and we was just like, we were. It was hot. First of all, oh my god, oh my god, it's so hot in Charleston. Oh, all right. Let me say this: if the temperature on the forecast says, let me see, 92 degrees, but on that forecast it actually shows the heat index and it says feels like 111. I need you to just come out and say the temperature is 111 and the humidity is hell level. Nah, because I'm telling you, I don't know. I look. I grew up in Charleston. I know this. I know this people. I grew up here. Yes, I'm heat fragile. That's what I am. And you're like, oh, you don't have heat fragility in front of a grill. I'm like, mind your business. So Charleston hot is different. Atlanta hot is different. Atlanta is hot, but Charleston's hot. It's just the humidity, it's the steam coming off the ocean, I guess. I don't know. But it's very humid. We were out there, we had a nice fan chilling and whatever, and we turned on the propane side of the grill and put them chicken legs on there. So what I wanted to do is kind of show how you can get a real good quality chicken leg if you just willing to put a little extra is using that term very loosely, effort and time to kind of baby it along, cook it in indirect, and just let it do what it does and put it on the warmer rack later and just let it crisp up. So what we did is it's how I usually do on the charcoal grill. There was we had the two end burners that was, oh, hold on, yeah, is it two end burners that were on, and one of the middle burner was off. So I laid the chicken on there in a way that it was going to be offset the heat. And I started to cook it in batches, but I found a way to actually get everything how I wanted it to be, and it turned out pretty, but it turned out to be able to be managed well. So cooked that for a while indirect. I think the total time took like about an hour and a half. Like, man, hour and a half. That's typical for me cooking with chicken legs, especially if it's like a whole long pack of chicken legs. I want to make sure that first of all, you want to make sure the chicken gets done evenly. You don't want to overcook the outside, undercook the middle. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have to worry about that. That some people overcompensate and they parboil. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. I always say don't do that. There's a general consensus you don't do that. But I like to take it slow. And what it does if you take it slow on a propane grill, it will build a little smoke ring if you do that, because the smoke is generating still from, let's say, the flame burning on a seasoned grill grate. And if you have a nice seasoned grill grate, not dirty, but you don't like clean the thing with bleach all the time, you don't get chemicals on it, you kind of season it like a cast iron pan. And that, I mean, the heat from everything, as long as you don't have chemical smoke, you're good, trust me. But you get that smoke from the indirect, and then the drippings of the chicken are still actually able to produce a little bit of kick up a flame from that, because of the residual heat on the even on the cool side, but it's not high enough to directly heat the chicken at a quick rate. So after a while, put a little barbecue sauce on there, and eventually put a couple of them directly on the flame for a little bit, kind of like accelerate the cooking. Once I knew that the internal temperature was safe, you want to get at least one. This is dark meat, so you want to get at least 170 to be oogie, but you want to take it up to as man. You can cook chicken legs until they get, I don't know, in the low 200, like 205. I'm just saying, as long as you have moisture and you're basting this with, let's say, barbecue sauce, like baste it, keep painting, basting a little bit, turn it, baste it, or you're spraying it with some cooking oil. And what I did is a mixture of that, and I wanted to have a crispy exterior of the chicken legs because you don't want rubbery chicken legs. I've got caught slipping doing that a few times, but you know, especially if you say, "Yeah, let me cook for you," and they're probably the people that are going to eat the stuff more than you. You know, you want to get to where they want to be at. Eventually, got everything off the grill. It was hot, man. It was definitely hot, but it was nice. We just sat, talked. We'll probably talk about it on the Cooking Grits podcast on the next installment of that. So stick around for that. And man, that was cool. Not temperature wise, but just like the vibe was cool. It was a cool vibe, and then went on to where did it go? So I came in Friday, did that Friday, and we went over to my brother-in-law's house, see my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law, and his family, everybody, and that was cool. The big point on that one is, and he's like, "Why are you bringing that up on a freaking grilling podcast?" Yeah, I can't talk today. Leave me alone. Is my brother Roosevelt has acquired a really nice pellet smoker in 2021 by Traeger. And man, I am not opposed to, venture out and doing other things other than charcoal, but it's not usually my jam to do anything other than charcoal. I'll cook on this stuff, but it's not, I'm not an enthusiast in, that the more recent technology of how you cook on the grill. I'm kind of old school. I don't know. What you want to call me a hippie? I don't know. I'm a elitist when it comes. I don't know. Whatever you want to say. I'm partially that, but I'm really open minded and I'm interested. I'm intrigued of how this produces quality food and how it compares to live fire cooking the more traditional way. Now, it's still all live fire cooking. You have a flame, that's a fire. It's live. Ooh, it's living. How how it was birthed? Hey, I don't know how you got there, you know? But you have an open flame. So judgment should not be made upon the tool that is used. And I talked to Ben Bullman that's been on the show, and he has a pellet cooker, Pit Boss, and he loves it. So I'm partial to learn more about how this works. It was a nice grill. I'm intrigued. I kind of thinking if some money falls on my lap, and I'm like, hey, let's go get like a super dope, you know, present for yourself or investment in some type of, I don't know. You can use this for catering. You get mad consistency from this thing. Set it and forget it for the most part, and you still get a really nice smoke flavor like you had it. It's not going to be like a stick burner. Nothing's going to replace a stick burner, but it's going to give you really consistent quality results as long as you remember where to set the temperature and all the regular techniques that you use, like the basics. So you don't burn the stuff, dry it out and all that. But hey, that was a really, really nice grill. Had it on a nice big patio or deck, if you want to call it, um, overlooking a huge backyard. It was nice. It was nice flow right there. Want to get out there and do it. It was talking about doing a brisket. I was like, man, that's a great idea. We're gonna actually try to do that next time we meet up. He did a test brisket that he got from, I think it was Harris Teeter in Somerville. I think it's Somerville, South Carolina, Harris Teeter. And it turned out, he said it turned out well. It looked pretty damn good, I tell you that much. So we'll have to update on the plans to do that. I would love to do a brisket. It's just my wife and I, for the most part here, I could probably give some to Harry. Harry will eat it, You know, you just love when people start to love you cooking. You're like, hey, wait, were you cooking? Hey, I'll be there. So, speaking of that, it's gonna be some update plans later for making some spare ribs for a birthday party. But stay tuned to that. Why don't we take a little break real quick and let's talk about the people that make it possible for me to do this thing here. And that is you. You. It's all about you. You are the listener. You are the watcher. You are the people that make the podcast happen. I want to thank you for listening to the Backyard Pitmaster podcast and the other podcast on the Mavcast audio blog family of podcast. If you would like to follow me on social media, please do so on Twitter. I always flow with that wrong. Follow me at Charlie Maverick. If you want to support the podcast channel, please do so at anchor.fm/the Mavcast/support. I would greatly appreciate that. And I just want to bring you great content. I want to shout out to my homeboy, Fred Hopper. He's making hot beats out there. Please visit his YouTube channel and support my boy Wendell Washington is making good content. Talk about boop, boop, on that golf course. Yeah, I made the sounds. Don't make it weird. Yes, he's doing great content, doing great things on YouTube. Please check him out and support. My man D Haskell doing great things. My man Digger Jones. Oh, there's so much more. I'm telling you, big things to all those people trying to do great content creation. Yes, and I'm telling you about Honey and Hustle podcast where they talk about entrepreneurship and we're doing big moves in the community. Give back to those that are making great content and make sure you support where you can, because it is you that are telling us you want to hear independent content creators and not those from mass media give you some good stuff to listen to. I mean, some good shit. So we trying to do that for you. And, just show your appreciation. Please, you could do that and become an executive producer of the podcast. Yeah, there's going to be some exclusive content coming soon on the Patreon channel. So, hey, jump over to Patreon /the Mavcast and support me there also. There's going to be some exclusive content coming your way, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Now, with that said, let's get back to the podcast. I like the beat right there. All right, guys. So, I really like the beat. Should I keep it going? Should I keep it going right there? At that level? I'm not yelling anymore, right? So, let's keep it going right there. I kind of like that vibe. Yeah, so I might turn it down a little bit because it might mess up my train of thought. I'm going to try to talk on beat if keep it on there. It's just in my blood. I can't talk. All right, somebody need it. Anyway, so back to the pod. Thank you for listening to the Backyard Pitmaster podcast. Oh, man. I saw my boys. Big homie Mo. That sounded weird. Ugh. Let me say that again. A homeboy Mo. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Scratch that. Yes. Saw the big homie Mo Miller 40th birthday party. It was awesome. I'm not editing that out, by the way. It's supposed to be live. It was my fault. Whatever. Judge me not. I didn't mean to. Shut up. Grow up. Anyway, so yeah, hanging out with my homeboy and homeboy Tony, Desmond, his family. You know, Tony Barr's wife. I ain't seen people in a long time. It was awesome. It was awesome. And just hanging out. Had some good food there. That's why I'm talking about this really. This part just talking about this part because it associates still with food. So if you're in the Charleston area also, I would definitely try to get to a place called Hometown Barbecue. That's where the food was catered from. Oh man, let me tell you. So they had pulled pork, ribs, chicken. Let me tell you about the pulled pork and the chicken. Let me tell you about that. Good things. Don't worry. It's good. It's all good. I'm not gonna say anything bad. I'm not gonna bad. Come on. So great party, by the way. Great party. Just small setting. It was a social distance and COVID protected dish atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? We masked up, social distance. We did our thing, sanitized, whatever. So the pulled pork was in a big pan. I'm talking about they had a lot of food. Probably still eating off of it for good reason. The pulled pork was awesome. So I've always said that when you cook on a stick burner, like a offset that you just mainly use wood, it gives you a unique style flavor profile versus if you were to cook on a charcoal grill, a pellet grill, a propane grill is nothing like something coming off of a flame that is mainly produced by wood. And you could just tell. And that's what most of those brick and mortar restaurants have when they get to that scale. If you're cooking for a large amount of people, the most efficient way to do it is invest in a huge stick burner. And they call it stick burner because you mainly load it with wood sticks, like really chunky logs. It's not like huge logs, but it's big enough logs. You may start the fire with a little bit of charcoal, but you're mainly burning wood. Like even on an outlaw, I don't know if you know what an outlaw is. It's a brand of offset cooker. Even when if you like start that off with a big amount of charcoal, you mainly still when you're reloading with fire, you're putting wood on it. You're not putting more charcoal on it. I'm just saying. So you get a different flavor off of it. And it's always a great thing. And you can tell if somebody made it at home, like me, or if you get it from like a brick and mortar place. And if they know what they're doing, of course. They could F it up. But a really good pitmaster that has that tool, it produces a really unique flavor. And you can really taste the uniqueness of the area where the barbecues come from, if that makes sense. So skill plus tools and the traditional recipe down pack. Boom. This was a very pleasant and slightly sweet. Like I don't usually like barbecue that is Swedish, but you got to think about you put barbecue sauce on there and it's usually sweet. But it was kind of like there was sugar in there. You don't know where it came in from. It could have been from a just the rub that they used. They probably just had a mixture of it. It's not like there's putting sugar in the damn thing. But it had that it was perfectly balanced with everything. You didn't need sauce. I didn't put any sauce on the thing. I'm like, dang. It tastes so good, I don't need sauce. And that's when you know you have good pulled pork. If you can eat the damn thing without sauce. Now, if you put sauce on there, you just be like, yeah, I'm doing it because I still want that amount of moisture that I usually have from the sauce because you're just used to that, that consistency, that texture. But for flavor purposes, nah, bro, you don't need it. Nah, it is, nah, bro. And sis, I can't be leaving people out these days. Y'all sensitive. But I mean, dude, it's so great. And the other thing was the chicken wings. Like party wings. Party wings are like the drummies and the flats. Had those, and oh man, it was like they smoked them on the stick burner still. Got a little smoke on them, just enough, and then they breaded them, and then they fried them because it was breaded. And then it feels like right after they took it out of the grease, they slapped it back into the smoker again. And I'm just thinking that's how the process went. I'm sounding excited as I am because it was fucking delicious. Yes, it was that good. It had a little sweetness to the breading, and again, it was virtually having the flavor profile if you would have had this wing sauced with a barbecue sauce, but you didn't need it. I'm telling you, I was tearing that thing up. I went back for a couple. I was almost about to ask if I could take some home, but hey, everybody was tearing it up. The pulled pork there was a lot of that left. I mean, it was just so much. Like everything was good. I didn't get to the ribs though. Damn it. But man, so yeah, I'm telling you, you got to try home team barbecue. I just had to talk about that. That was a great experience. But being back in Charleston, that was great. Seeing everybody, and I don't know how everything just touched on a grilling moment. It's something had to do with a grill. Every last moment of that trip, which is weird. I don't know if I was intentionally doing that. It doesn't feel like it was. But again, I don't know. Subconsciously, the brain was like, "Woo, let's see about grills." Everything had to do with grills or grilled meat. Yep. So let me tell you about an experience I was trying to. It didn't work out. I'm talking about me trying to film some video for the YouTube channel to try to give like a little supplement to the audio that you get on this podcast. So I'm like, let me use my expensive as Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, that one but I've done reviews off of this thing with hey, it has like four. How many cameras does this thing have? I already forgot. Five cameras on it, dude. Mm, yep, I didn't make that up. That was five cameras on the back. I can shoot at 8K. So the idea was maybe not shooting 8K because that would be a huge file to try to transfer. I was going to film. I was just going to do like they do on YouTube videos, like have little short shots or long, you know, long scenes and try to chop them down to like really good like clips and try to condense it and make it to something. I mean, Terrence told me that it was good. It's long in the if I just leave it as is. The thing that messed up is I had I had the phone on the tripod right by the Weber grill, and for whatever reason, whatever reason, I didn't account for the fact that it was hot outside and it's a hot grill. And if the phone gets to a certain, thing, because it is trying to record, 4K video. I didn't go to 8K, but I was still doing 4K. Look, I wanted it to look good at least. And I was doing like the settings for um noise cancellation and all that with the microphones on here. So the battery was working already by itself. It got to the point where the thing just powered down. It's like I can't do it anymore. The camera app kept closing. I'm like, man. So I lost a portion of the cook. But I just realized that if I'm going to do video off of my cooks, like recording them, I failed at a couple of things. I wanted to do a live stream, just straight up live stream. Oh, that was gonna be so jerry rigged. I gotta revisit that idea one day when I get a proper standalone camera that can also do it. Like maybe I could use a GoPro for that, but just something I have the proper tools to do that. Also, I probably shouldn't try to uh, do the action in the video and try to shoot the video with the camera. I shouldn't be, in front of and behind the camera. That is chaotic. And the time it takes to set up a scene. I'm gonna talk about this with a guy that does really nice YouTube videos, and he uses a different sets of grills, and he's very very methodical in how he goes through the progressions of it. Really nice guy named Jeffrey, and you know it's a lot of work. So I want to talk to him about how he goes through that whole process. I mean, he said he likes it. Me, that's not my jam. I'm more of like sit behind the microphone and talk like this all day long. Editing audio, oh, I don't mind that. But sometimes I do get a little lazy. Hence, a little bit of the reason that there's a live show. I also like to challenge myself in the moment. I like to feel like I'm living in that moment and give you the most genuine. Um, like I don't want it to be so scripted. If I do too much of editing, post editing, and all of that, it seems like I'm giving you a watered down product and not something that's more raw. And how podcasts are supposed to be. Podcasts are supposed to be like super raw and it just organic. Yeah, I don't know. Video is not my jam. It never was, but maybe I'll try if I have my wife be behind the camera and I'm in front of the camera just doing that. And then I would need someone, God help me, because this is what I also hate about video is doing the editing. Yeah, I mean, I do sound editing for the sole purpose of I love podcasting so much. I don't like recording video that much. I never have. I mean, I've done it for family videos, but I mean, nope, that ain't my jam. I don't like it. Again, I would show it straight how it is, no editing. I don't want to give that to you. I want to give you a good product. That's something that I would just sit back and casually watch with, family during the holidays. You're like, look at that idiot just running across the screen. You know how that is. Boy, I sure look stupid. Did I say that back then? I can't say that in these days. I get canceled. Stuff like that. Privately watch stuff, not publicly watch stuff where I don't want you to scratch your head and start judging me. Like you're doing now, by the way. But yes, I don't know if that's my jam. Like, I'll try again. I promised that I would try. I'm trying. But the thing that I was trying to record is the how you trim a cowboy ribeye steak and you set it up for grilling and direct and then doing a reverse sear, blah blah blah. I've done that before. Talked about it all the time. I'm not going into detail of that, of course. Not going to bore you with those details. But I also wanted to show you how I did a shrimp stir fry using zero carb noodles. Had some zucchini, some Brussels sprouts. Had something else in there. I can't remember. I did have bacon in there, but that was separate. And I used a cast iron skillet. It was awesome. It's pretty darn awesome. So all I did with that, I may edit the video and may show it later, post it later on the YouTube. Someone will convince me eventually to edit that. I'll do it, whatever. But I'm not going to promise you it's going to be a quick turnaround. So what I wanted to show is basically putting the shrimp, to season up the shrimp. Just it's nothing extravagant. It's just easy peasy, but it gives you a really good flavor from the charcoal. So you put everything in direct, warm up the cast iron skillet, maybe some bacon in there just to have a nice, you know, rendering of oil, fat. And then I put in the shrimp. And I didn't have anything directly on the heat for a long time. I just put it on the direct fire just long enough so I can maintain a certain level of heat, but not having the constant flame fire going at the skillet. Because cast iron skillets, once it gets hot, it's holding that heat for a minute. You know, you ever try to pick up a cast iron skillet after it's been off the burner for a while? Oh yeah, that's probably the first time you burn yourself in the kitchen. Yeah, the first time I did, I'm like, 20 minutes later, ow, that's still hot. So you don't have to keep it directly on the heat. I don't suggest you do that anyway. But I took it and just maintained the temperature, put in the shrimp, and then it was sauteing in there. It wasn't a hard fry because the oil, I didn't want the oil to pop because you get the moisture from the shrimp because if you season it, it's drawing out moisture. So there's water on the exterior, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, you don't want to start splashing all over the place. So you put it in at a decent temperature. The oil's not like blue smokes coming off the thing. You don't have it super hot. Um, so you let that go, and then you start putting in the vegetables and all that. Uh, if you do it at the right method and sequence, what you would get is shrimp that is going to be not overcooked. Now, what I would do, and that I almost forgot to tell you, is that after I started with the bacon, rendered that down, took that out, that was crisp, put it off to the side, took the shrimp, cooked those till they were almost done. And then I took those out to put them off to the side. Now, once the shrimp were ready to take off to the side, there was a salsa brewing in, I said sauce, yeah, not salsa, but sauce brewing in the bottom of the pan because I was trying to make a sauce for this, right? Took some butter, took put whatever extra seasoning you want in there, and I wanted there to be some liquid, some sauce that I can maintain. Put a little bit of water in there to thin it out because what you want to do is you want to cook the vegetables in there. So the zucchini and the Brussels sprouts. So if you put it at the right level, you can get a little crispness still on the Brussels sprouts and the zucchini without cooking them to mush. I hit the point where I went too far with the zucchini, my mistake, but it was perfect on the Brussels sprouts. Just enough char on there to say, hey, I got it, but not one that resembled if I was to actually have cooked this separately. I would recommend if you want premium texture on every last thing, cook it as if you were to make any other stir fry. I was just trying to do all this setup and video. It was overwhelming. And I'm just telling you about the process that I executed this time. Is it the right one? I'm going to say nope. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. That wasn't my best because I was trying to focus on doing everything and not solely on the cooking. Like if I was just solely on the cooking, it would have turned out to be awesome. I mean, we ate all of it, you know. It eventually all got eaten, minus the some of the zucchini, but I mean, it wasn't my best. Eesh. But you try and you fail, then you get up and then you put next time you don't try to shoot video while you're trying to, cook on the grill and, it'll that's supposed to be dinner. That's not supposed to be a test. Yeah, you probably shouldn't test stuff out the first time for dinner. Lesson learned. Yep. So, what is coming up next? All right. I got to cook some ribs for a friend's birthday coming up. It's a milestone birthday. Everybody's having milestone birthdays this year. Mine is next year. I ain't gonna hate. I'm not hating. So I'm getting ready to prep for that. I want to have it look, competition style appearance, but I don't want to have it like competition style level of seasoning. What you learn, what you go into rabbit holes about barbecue, and you aspire to one day be in a, you know, competition. I don't know if I really want to do that though. Like from what I hear, it's diminishing returns. At least right now, maybe come back, but they're saying that it's not like how it was, like the enjoyment of it. But it might change my mind. But yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things that I actually forgot what I was going to talk about. But anyway, yeah, going to make some spare ribs and maybe have some rib tips. And how I'm going to do it is how I talked about it the last time, I think. Where I just took a whole slab of spare ribs, cut it like a St. Louis style, and then you go in and size up the rib tips just right. Make sure you don't have a lot of bone and cartilage in it. So you got to find a good, really good, even and long cut of spare ribs that aren't already St. Louis cut. So I want to give them 2 slabs of spare ribs and some rib tips. I want to use Malcolm Reed's The Barbecue Rub on those. And not gonna sauce them. They don't want sauce. I don't blame them. The majority of the time, I don't want sauce in my ribs either. I do it because other people like it. And I just got used to doing it. But I traditionally don't like sauce on my ribs. So I'm like, hey. So it's going to be a little bit easy in my book. What I like to do, I've told you about this before, but minus the sauce part, is I'm going to put a light base of salt, pepper, garlic, and finish it with the barbecue rub by Killer Hogs. I like what Killer Hogs does. Gives it a nice mahogany color. Really, really, really deep, rich color. And when I wrap it, I just put a lining of butter and brown sugar. That's all you do. Wrap it real tight in the foil, put it back on the grill, and then take it off, let it rest. Let that puppy rest overnight before you even cut into them, which is the best. So I like to do those the night before. Oh, those are the best. So when you cut into them, it slices like butter. butter, and then it has a nice candied crust on it. Perfect. Perfect bite that you go into it. Perfect slice of meat. There's nothing hanging off of it because you let all the juices redistribute and naturally cool down. Like you don't wait an hour or you don't wait a short amount of time to cut into this. You let this thing rest, cool down for, I would say, as long as you can stay up. You know how you cook roast or something that you know you have to just like watch for a little bit before you go to bed. You know what I mean? He's like, let me just set this out here. I'm gonna stay up as long as I can. Then before I go to bed, so I just don't leave it out overnight, the whole night, especially in the winter because you have the heat on. You make a squeeze by if you have the AC pumping really high during the summer. Don't suggest it though. Don't do it. But I'm just saying, don't do it. But put it in the fridge before you go to bed. Come back out, man. Cut through it with anything. Telling you, it's going to be a perfect bite. It's going to look like competition style ribs. Nice and shiny. I'm like, how does this happen? It's perfect. Perfectly balanced flavor all the way through. Mm, I'm nice smoke ring. All the time. What I usually use on ribs, if I really want to have consistency, I really want to make sure I have the exact flavor I want to have. I always use cherry wood. I don't deviate from that. I don't deviate from it. I might deviate from the wood, not the wood, the charcoal that I use. But I tell you what, I don't deviate from the. I tried, and every time, there's something that fluctuates different. I'm really particular about consistency. So try, fail. No, it doesn't matter if I go hot and fast or really low and slow and drag it out. The same product comes out at the same quality at the end if I just let it slowly rest and keep it wrapped, slowly rest outside in room temperature. We're still wrapped, then put it in the fridge while it's wrapped and just take it out in the morning. It's going to be cold. You're going to have to heat it up. Even if you heat it up, it's not going to overcook it. Just don't leave it in the microwave for like minutes. You know, warm it up like regular stuff. I'm telling you, if you have an air fryer, best option for you. Air fryer or toaster oven, best way to slowly heat this up. Just don't go too long on it till that it's still cooking it internally at that point, right? So it's gonna actually try to keep cooking it. It's still gonna be good. It's still gonna be good. You can eat the thing cold if you want. I've done all of the above. I'm telling you, the best consistent. Oh, I'm telling you, that's the only time I'm not gonna lie. That's not the only time I ate cold ribs, but gives you the great product. That's what I'm gonna do. Rib tip's gonna do the same. I'm gonna probably keep them whole. I won't slice them until after I cook them. So I'm actually gonna do them just like the ribs. I'm gonna cook it just like the ribs. So I'm gonna try to get a big slice of the rib tip on both of them, cook them by themselves. So I'm probably gonna have two grills going because I have the Weber kettles. So I want enough space. I don't want this to be crowded. I want to give a good product. You know what I'm saying? I got two grills for a reason. If I do need to do heavy lifting like that, it's really efficient too. It's really efficient. It's not like I'm using a whole bunch of charcoal. I'm actually not using a lot. Some of the time, just think about this. I'm cooking it low and slow, and I'm using really efficient means to do it. Um, I've known people to waste more charcoal just cooking burgers on one grill that I'm going to use to do this on two grills. It just gives me the space. I can. It doesn't matter if the temperatures don't cook at the same time. It doesn't matter. I got so down with grills, with cooking ribs. You know, people just have these camps that you got to cook it real low and slow. You got to cook it real hot and fast. You cook it. You wrap it. You don't wrap it. You whatever. It doesn't matter. Uh, your style is your style. Whatever style that I have, it is still consistent as long as I use the same type of seasoning, and the same type of wood. That's my consistency, and I can always get in a right in the in the area where I need to be. It might not be exactly the same taste, but it's going to, how you make dishes. It doesn't always taste the exact same every time, but you're like, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. That's where you want to get at, and that's why I want to get. That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna tell you how that turned out. So I want to let you guys know that I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me bring back in the music. Is that a different beat? Feels like a different beat. Feels like this is a different beat. But I like to thank you guys for hanging out with me one more time. Let me turn it up a little bit louder. It kind of makes me feel like 90s R&B. Like, I'm about to sing to you. I'm about to let it go. I don't know what I'm about to say, so I'm about to say hell no. So I'm having fun. So I would like to thank you for tuning in to the Backyard Pitmaster podcast. It's all because of you and why I do this. I like to entertain you, inform you, and enlighten you. Oh, that downbeat was dope. I didn't even plan that. So, if you'd like to support the podcast, please do so at anchor.fm/themathcast/support. Follow me on to Twitter at Charlie Maverick. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast, and the podcast channel is always trying to give you some dope stuff to listen to and view, hopefully in the future. Be great, stay masked up, stay safe, and stop hating on the unvaccinated. I'm just saying. Everybody don't have to be mad all the time. Let's chill out. We on the same side. Be good. God bless. And I'm out.